This is my review on Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, or is it The Return of the Jedi? So let's pick on when one picks up right with the last one, it's on time period after the last one, before this took place. So Han gets resurrected from the dead and gets free from being a fossil from Leia undercover. Revealed that it's Leia that basically freed him and unfossilized him. And they make their getaway from Jabba's palace, only to get captured and Leia turned into a stripper slave thing. Or was that a hooker? Wait, I think it's a hooker. Anyway, she basically gets turned into this hooker outfit, and that's how me and all bunch of Star Wars fans came to respect her as an independent woman, female empowerment figure for the power of our homo erections. I mean, our power of our homotic erections. I'm just okay. Well, technically, that's I'm assuming that's the reason why she got big in the first place. The third installment of the trilogy, because seeing that that's the most famous Leia outfit out of all of the trilogy, and that's the most known one that keeps pop up with iconic pictures of Leia before the sequel trilogy happened. And after it happened. So Leia gets put into force, gets chained up around her, gets chained up and put into this hooker outfit. Now a hooker is someone that has to have sex with someone, paid, but it's more of a hooker slave, but she doesn't get paid. So the downside is basically she has to get Jabba the Hutt while also being one of his dancers / things. But become a slave towards that, because that's why she's literally has a chain on her, because she can't break free. And because the rescue Han Solo as a one person goes south, so Luke has to, after seeing his master die on this abandoned planet, nowhere planet, Yoda, his master, dies of old age and becomes one with the Force. He becomes the Force Ghost. By becoming one with the Force and dying of old age. And Yoda, the reason why he went back to Yoda is to complete his training, to become a full Jedi. A full young man Jedi. To complete his training that he kind of put a hold on in the one movie before this movie, due to the events of trying to save Han's life, that, well, it was a complete failure in hindsight to do that. So, Han. So, after Leia basically unfossilized Han, and before they get captured, she says that she loves Han and kisses them, so once Luke's master dies, Yoda and becomes one with the Force and decays into a Force ghost, become with the Force, one with the Force. Figured to his old age, he has to go rescue Han and Leia, even though he never completed his Padawan training to becoming a full Jedi. So like father, like son, in a way, he also betrayed the Jedi code. in multiple ways. Because, like father, like son, he decided his emotions and friendship is more important than Jedi training. So, like father, like son, he didn't also become a full Jedi. Just like Anakin. But that led to him getting a makeover, wearing nothing but black, and relying on his emotions as his instincts, instead of good judgment. And not, so really, he's kind of slowly sees a bit of a dark side growing in him in this one, due to the events of the past two ones in Luke. So, I think when he finds out that Darth Vader is the one who's trying to hunt him and turn him to the dark side, while also being kicked whipping his ass at the end of the movie, and removing his hand and losing his lightsaber at the end of that movie, only to get a robot hand and a completely new dress in black Jedi robe makeover. Also, on top of it, finds out that Vader was his father, the biological father, the entire time, and that Obi-Wan's a fucking liar. Because he told him while being confronting Luke in a Force Ghost form, and Luke calling him a fucking liar to Obi-Wan's face. He says, "I did not lie. I told you the truth from a certain point of view." telling you that Vader killed your father. I told you the truth from a certain point of view. Yeah, that certain point of view is a lie. Obi-Wan. Yeah. Oh, fuck. So, Luke senses good in him, but even though it's completely fucking lost and he's lost his way, Obi-Wan's still holding onto a grudge, saying there's no good in him. He's more machine than man. Turns out Obi-Wan is again fucking wrong. Because at the end of the film, he was able to turn him against the Emperor, well, which also turning, but not turning his back on his son, which turned him basically redeem himself, which turned back on the side back on the other side, against the dark side, against the Sith. So, by throwing Emperor Palpatine down several seats into a giant battery that electrocutes him and fries him like toast. Way overdue. Like toast fries him. Electrocutes him. You see the fireworks going off. It just looks so beautiful and majestic. Oh. But he did that in the name of love. But wait. Did he truly turn good, saying he did it for his son's, the love he had for his son? After all, Jedis are not supposed to listen to their feelings, right? That is the code of the Jedi. A Jedi shall not love. A Jedi must operate on logic, not emotions. Like a fucking sociopath. That's the cult way of the Jedi, right? Right. So, did he turn good, or did he got Luke to turn to the bad seed? By saving and choosing to love for his son. after he, by in doing so. That just makes sense. Of course. That's why Luke was about to commit child murder in the Last Jedi. It wasn't because he was crazy. It was because this was foreshadowing the events that this movie set out when Luke returned in the sequel trilogy. It all makes sense now. Just like it makes sense when this movie set up Leia's act of being one with the Force, being connected to the Force, being able to use the Force because Luke says so. That he sensed the Force in her, was in her, and then so did Vader, Leia's father. After Luke saves all of them, and goes to this other planet with Wookiees called Wookiee furry things, the Wookiees and furry things, that saved them their army, and built their army up. And lead the army by Leia leading the army because he has to go confront his father. And turn him to the good side, and these other events play out that I just told you about. And so on forward. It just makes sense now! Holy crap, Last Jedi, you make sense now! I thought, originally, that the whole point of Vader turning against Palpatine was because his redemption arc. But really, it was to turn Luke into the true Sith Lord we know today that will commit child endangerment by slaughtering minors because he sensed that there's dark side in the Force that lives inside of Han's son in his future. Only to later to redeem himself by not going through with a man slaughtering a child in his sleep. When he's sleeping on your, campground, basically. The Last Jedi makes so much sense now. That's why he became a bitter old man and didn't do anything for more than half of the film in Last Jedi. Except drink cow milk that was blue and green from different aliens that alien cows. Straight from their udders. Well, telling Leia to piss off and go fuck herself. While fucking with her by teasing her and talking shit about the Jedi. And how they suck. Because she is guilty that he never become a full Jedi in this movie and never did matter to the Jedi Order and the Jedi ways. And never becoming full-fledged Jedi by finishing his training with love for the power of his Sith Lord Father Darth Vader. By only turning to the dark side through love. Because he operates on his emotions by doing what feels right, not doing what's logical. Of course! In the end, choosing the logic thing over what feels right, of what you sense in the Force. By sparing the boy's life that he was going, that was, Han Solo's son, Ben Solo. His full name is, I guess, Ben Solo. Or, no, Ray? Ben, I think. And, spent his life and not commit slaughter in his sleep while he's sleeping. As a child, he did not go through with that act of murdering a child. Therefore, he redeemed himself, I guess, but returned, became a bit old fucking man. Because he realized how much he wasted his life being on the path of the dark side. What the fuck am I talking about? What the fuck is this franchise saying? What is this story trying to say? Oh, and I also before he goes to face his father, and turn his father supposedly to dark side, or turn to like the side of Jedi, or turn himself to the side of the dark side, depending on how you look at this movie now. Now the sequel trilogy's out, so yeah. So he confronts Leia and puts two and two together by sensing the Force within her. And realized that that is his blood relative sister that he sucked face with one time in the movie before this. And then she put the moves on him the second time. True, the first time it was on the cheek. I think it was kind of went all fast, you know? In the first movie, like in A New Hope, she kissed him on the cheek and sick. It will continue to flirt with him and perform a romantic relationship between her and her brother, and put the moves on him for real this time by kissing him all on the lips. In the sequel, the one before this, the sequel to A New Hope, and only for their relation to come full circle, and Luke puts the moves on her after confronting her by giving her a kiss goodbye. Sis. A kiss goodbye, sis. That supposedly may or may not be on her lips. It's hard to tell because it's shot by the back of Leia's head. So how does like tell whether was that a playful kiss on the cheek, or was that like a whole right on the lips action? We might never know. In this movie, where that kiss landed in this movie. After he confesses that he's not only she's not only his sister, but she as well is as strong with the Force that he is, as his father is, as Vader is. By saying these words, and I quote, "The Force is strong in my family. I have it. My father has it. My sister has it. Yes, that's you." And Leia responds, somehow, and I quote, she says, "Somehow, my whole life, I always knew I was your sister." Since we met. She basically saying, since we met, she says, somehow, my whole life, I always knew. She says, and I quote, to Luke. Then Luke gives her a kiss goodbye as she's about to go on a suicide mission. That's probably most likely a one-way ticket for his sake. Well, she leaves the battle where the Wookiees are, and they win the fight to kick ass. And Han, he's completely clueless. He still thinks that Leia and Luke are still flirting with each other. after the king claims that they know that they're related by blood. So how does Han win the woman's heart? By Luke admitting and her admitting to herself that they're blood related relatives, family members. That is how you win a woman's heart, audience. By convincing, or that's how you lose a woman's heart, by telling her you're related to her by blood, even when you have no history of evidence to back it up. You're just going with your Force gut instinct. Even when no one told you that, even. It's funny. So this is the movie where we find out they're brother and sisters. Yes. Of course, makes sense to me. So, after Vader turns on Palpatine, and during the battle, Leia tells that, Leia tells Han about Luke that they're basically brother and sister. So that means Han knows he's in. School of Han! That's how he knows he won the war in Han, and that means he's ready to make babies with her. Because Luke is out, Han in. So the war between two bromans that's been going on for this entire trilogy of the original trilogy, that's been the basic premise, finally comes full circle. Han wins, Luke 0, loser, Phil. May the Force be with him. It's very poetic when you think about it. She was split and divisive who man belongs with what hat belongs to who. Leia was until she realized and was turned by realizing herself, by realizing Luke realizes it, that they really are brother and sister by blood, not by spirit. That is truly the Jedi way. It's kind of poetic when you think about it, because the first Star Wars movie, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, started with like Anakin forming a brother-sister relationship with his future wife. Only in the sequel, he won that pussy's heart and attacked the clones and got married to her. Then by impregnating her and killing her with the Force. And the third installment of that trilogy. The prequel trilogy. Like father, like son, Luke's so much like Anakin when you think about it, huh? It's kind of beautiful, in a way. Disturbing way, right? Yeah. So, after Vader takes off his helmet as his last request to his son Luke, as he's dying breath. And wants to see his son with his own eyes for one more time, for seeing him, because he knows that he's going to die. And it's like he can't be saved because it's too late for me. It's like it's because he knows he's dying, and Luke removes his mask and grants his father's last request to see his face with his own eyes. So yeah, Vader's dead, and that's his done. And says goodbye. So Luke escapes the Empire And Han, Leia, Luke are now heroes, save the galaxy. And that's the end of this trilogy, the original trilogy, that got altered and changed multiple times throughout the course of many decades since this original release. And the original trilogy never really got released. That didn't got altered in terms of changing the scenes around, shuffling scenes around, editing scenes out of the film, and including effects, special effects, and practical effects in all the above. So, because of that, I'm not reviewing the original release of this movie. I'm just reviewing the alternate release of this movie. And I gotta say, because so many changes got changed in terms of effects, and so many effects don't really, it's like so many, pretty much everything like A New Hope got changed in terms of scenes and effects that really do more harm than good in hindsight. And made the film as a whole feel overseas is welcome. I'm giving this the same points I gave to A New Hope of my last review of A New Hope. I'm giving it 0 out of 10. Yeah. The Return of Jedi gets a 0 out of 10. And, truthfully told,